Hey everybody, welcome to Embroidery Sundays with the Brother PRS 100 Persona embroidery only machine. Last week I showed you how to set up and use the hat hoop. I showed you what was in the box. I showed you how to set up the mounting jig, how to put the cap frame driver on the machine, how to set it up so it had the right clearance around the bed of the machine, and we embroidered a hat. Today I'm going to show you how you can use the compact embroidery frames to personalize your hat. So in front of me here I have the set of 4 that came with my Brother PRS 100, and there's a circle, an oval that's vertical, an oval that's horizontal, and then there's a square. So we're going to be using the square one today, and the design area for these compact hoops for the square is 50mm square. So what I did was I imported a number 7 into my Brother machine, and what I want to do is show you how to personalize it. Most hats have these 6 sections sewn together, these especially like the cotton non-structured hats. Sometimes the center panel doesn't have a seam down the middle and there's only 5 sections, and the front section is, you know, twice as big as the rest of the sections. But on the hat I'm working with, there are 6 equal sections. So that leaves me the ability to put a something to customize the hat, like a number or a name or a little logo. I could put it over in this section off to the left or right, or I can put it on the center back of the hat. Why don't we put it in the center back for today? But just know the steps I'm going to show you can be used either to put it either at the center back or on the side of the hat. So the first thing I'm going to do, just to make it a little bit easier, is I'm going to unbuckle or unsnap the hat, you know, the bottom of this band here. If I could release that, that's going to make more room and make it easier to hoop the hat. The next thing you're going to need is a piece of tearaway stabilizer. So I'm just going to cut myself a little piece. And I normally don't hoop fabric. And the reason why I normally don't hoop fabric is because when you squeeze the fabric between the inner and outer hoop, what can happen is you can get shine marks by squeezing that fabric between, between the inner and outer hoop when you go to push it in. So I'm going to give you some strategies to reduce that shine or even eliminate it. Okay, so what you're going to need is, in your little toolbox, this is the hoop screwdriver that comes with it. Get that out, because after we hoop our hat, we're going to really tighten it down with this, with this screwdriver. So you're going to need that. And then another thing I'm going to use is a piece of topper or wash away stabilizer. And the purpose of this is going to be to protect the fabric of the cap from getting shine marks on it when we hoop it. I'm going to use a ruler, and I am just going to make sort of a crosshairs at the center back of the hat so it's easier for you to see where I'm embroidering. Alright, so I've got the center mark there. And then instead of making a plus sign, I am just going to give myself a guide by drawing a straight line horizontally across the base of the vertical line, like this. So the reason why I'm doing this is I want my 7 to be centered on in between the 2 back panels, and I want the base of the 7 to end up right about there. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use my fingers to lefty loosen this compact embroidery frame, so there's plenty of room there for it to open, because this is kind of stiff fabric and we need to have room to squeeze it between the inner and outer hoop. So I'm going to start by sort of finger pressing the stabilizer into the hoop. Okay, then I'm going to take my hat and I'm going to get that in the hoop so it's looking straight like this. Then I'm going to get the washaway stabilizer and put it on top, and then I'm going to get the inner hoop and I'm just going to sort of get it so that vertical line that we can see through the washaway stabilizer is looking nice and straight in the hoop. Okay, so you can see now I've pushed the top two corners of the hoop in, and then I'm going to push the lower sections or the lower corners of the hoop in like that. And I'm going to make sure that the hat is smooth under there, and if I need to pull at it a little bit to get it to lay, I can, you know, just sort of play with it to get it to smooth out and lay nice and flat. Okay, but the important thing is we want to make sure that that vertical line is straight up and down in that compact frame. Okay, so we've got that nice and organized, and then the fabric of the hat is laying nice and flat underneath there, and you can see that the washaway topper is now protecting the fabric from getting shine marks on it because it's between the hoop and the fabric when it squeezes. So I loosened it enough to get it in there, but I can feel that the hoop wants to separate. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to tighten that down. So now I'm going to take the screwdriver that's designed to be used with the hoop, and I'm going to turn it away from me or towards the right, and that's going to tighten it down. So after you get the fabric nice and smooth in the little hoop, the next step is to just tighten that screw so that it's really securely holding the hat in the hoop. All right, and this might take a little practice because it's a small hoop. It's a little bit fussy because the hat is not completely flat, but you can see that it was pretty easy for me to get that area into the hoop and line up my vertical line with the dots on the top and bottom of the hoop. Okay, so that's how you hoop the hat using the compact frame. Now I'm going to show you how to put the compact embroidery frame on the machine. You'll remember that the Brother PRS 100 comes with two different embroidery frame holders. Embroidery frame holder A is for the larger hoops, so the 8x8, the 4x4, and then the optional 5x7. So I have the smaller embroidery frame E already attached to my machine, and if you need instructions on how to get that on the machine, check out the setup video, and I'll put the link to that in the description below. So now, just to make it easier to see what's happening here, I'm just going to trim off all this extra washaway stabilizer just so it's not flapping around, and we don't want anything to get caught with the needle and jam the machine. So I'm just going to trim this nice and short so it'll stay out of the way. All right, so now let's go to the machine. So I'm going to squish the brim of the hat down so I can slide the hoop underneath the needle. Then I'm going to pull the brim off to the left here. And what we want to do is we want to slide the hoop underneath this metal clip. And what's going to happen is there are holes on either side of the frame, and they're going to seat right on top of these pins. So there's a pin here and there's a pin here. So watch what happens when I push that in. it clicks into position. Then I can relax my hat and get it all out of the way so it won't get caught in the stitching. Alright, so this is how the hoop looks now with it set up. Notice all the parts of the hat are out of the way. The brim is resting on the embroidery arm in the back, and it's ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is, let me show you on the screen here. I've selected the number 7. I'm going to press set. Then I'm going to press embroidery. And you can see once I do that, it puts the needle in the center of the hoop. The red dot is the LED sort of pinpoint of where it's going to start stitching, and you can see it's just to the right of the vertical line, which is in the center of the cap. So what I'm going to do is I am going to press the left arrow to move the design over a little bit. So let me just show you where I'm going to press. I'm going to press that a little bit until my red LED light is right on my vertical line. You can see the needle is centered in the hoop, so we can start stitching. So now I'm going to press the unlock button on the screen. Notice my start stop button is blinking green. That means it's ready to embroider. So I'm going to go ahead and press that, and our design is going to embroider. Let's look up close. Alright, our design is finished, so now it's time to take the hoop off. So let me just turn the machine over or around to the side here. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is move the brim out of the way, and there are these little tabs on the hoop itself. I'm going to lift them and I'm going to pull the frame back, and it'll slide out from the embroidery holder E, and then I just need to make sure I'm not catching the fabric and the needle very carefully. Alright, let's take a look at this on the table. Alright, so let's take a look at our hat. I'm going to just use the screwdriver here just to relax or untighten it a little bit so I don't have to really squeeze it to release the frame. So I'm just turning it towards me just a little bit so I could pop that inner frame out without stressing out the fabric. Alright, so let's get rid of that. Now this wash away topper just tears right off. Okay, and you can see this one is a black, but you can see that's a cool detail. And then on the inside of the hat, I'm just going to tear away my stabilizer. So see that the inside has a nice finish, you know, and then I can just reattach my band here by inserting it in this little brass clip and put that back the way it was. Alright, so that's how you personalize a baseball hat after you use the embroidery, you know, the hat hoop to embroider the front of the hat. You can add little designs either on the side or the center back to add more personality to your baseball hat. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below and I will help you. I hope you're enjoying Embroidery Sundays with my Brother PRS 100. And thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.